Hey guys, TomTinkerer here once again, this time with my review of Call of Duty 4, so here we go. If you guys have seen any of my other reviews, you guys know the breakdown of this, but for those of you who are new here, this is what I do. When I review a game, what I do is I break it down into these three main categories, and storyline, gameplay mechanics, and graphics. And those three categories I actually break down into 3 or 4 different components, depending on each one. And then, as you see, I've assigned percentages to each because I think all three, in this case, I think all three are important for the overall review of a game. But the percentages are not all equal in each different category, so make sure to pay attention to that before we hit that category. So here we go on to storyline. Storyline I break down into character development, plot setting and tone and predictability. The percentages you can see right there. So character development, what do I give this game? I give it an 8. This is why. One of your characters is mildly developed. Soap is developed pretty well. Jackson, not so much. That's really the extent of it. You really only play those two characters. And really Jackson dies. And so like you don't really get any further explanation beyond that. Yeah, but Soap is developed pretty well. I mean, honestly, you never personally get developed too much. You kind of do just with your trust and whatnot by other AI members, but the other AI members of your team are really well developed. Price is done really well. Gaz is done pretty well. I mean, Gaz is just beast. I'm thinking, and then Griggs is done fairly well, but, you know, their fates are not exactly the same as yours. It's the same as yours for 2 of those 3. So anyways, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my walkthroughs and commentaries, alright? But anyways, so plot. I give this game a 10. Battles always seem to have a purpose. Story is fictional and creative. I like the storyline to this game. It's fictional, but it's realistic. If someone really did not like any particular group in the world, I mean, this doesn't have to just happen between the U.S. and Russians, or in this case Middle Eastern radicals. It doesn't need to be that. I mean, it could be between any 2 groups, but if any one of those 2 groups did get their hands on weapons like this and suddenly went radical and tried war and whatnot, I could see this actually happening in different plot lines too. But the plot line itself, minus the 2 groups in it, or 3 or 4 groups actually, is pretty good, and I really like it. And I thought it was fairly solid, especially for a new plot line no one had ever seen before. And the characters hold a lot of discussions. I love that. There's actual chatter. Chatter means something. It's not just constant yells at you saying that you're doing a good job or anything like that. Setting and tone, I once again give this game a 10. Modern tech feels realistic. I love the guns. There is no way to describe how much I love these guns, especially compared to COD 3. I mean, the tech and everything feels realistic. Language and dialogue agree with both the physical locations and the characters. Definite. Music creates a very immersive environment. I love the music in this game. They pick it according to whichever region you're in and to what the setting and tone are. I love it. Predictability, I give this game a 9. One thing I love about this game compared to other COD games, previous to this one at least, outcome of each level is not always expected. Holy cow, it blew my mind the first time I played this. Granted, you guys haven't seen the first time I played this because I didn't record that. That was a while ago. But it blew my mind because there's a couple levels where what you think happens doesn't happen. I mean, it was great. Great plotline twister. I loved it. Enemy AI's movement, somewhat predictable. Friendly's less so. I agree. That's my only real complaint. The enemy AIs need to be a little smarter. Hint, hint. Go ahead. Yeah, Call of Duty franchise. Change that a little. AIs react quickly. Thank you so much for changing that. Call of Duty 3, I thought they were a little slow. Thank you. They did something really well with that. Scoreline scores. They're the different scores and percentage breakdowns of each category. So total for storyline, I give this game a 9.25. That's averaging all of those according to what their percentages are. Moving on, gameplay mechanics I break down into character movement, combat, and interaction with environment. What do I give character movement? I give the character movement in this game a 9. Reasons. The speed is balanced. I like it. Effective method of taking cover. Running! Thank you, Call of Duty, for making it so I can run. Because, no, thank you. Finally realizing that war, we do not all walk from one spot to the other and shoot while we are walking. Thank you, Call of Duty. The one thing that I was kind of like a little hesitant about, I mean, you guys, I play paintball somewhat. I play paintball and airsoft. I really don't go out and shoot rifles much, to be quite honest. But you tell me if like when you're aiming a rifle, um, your aim suddenly locks onto the enemy target that you have. I know that doesn't happen to me when I'm playing paintball, so I was a little like, what's this little maneuver? But I mean, could be good, could be bad. Personally, for a game, I think it's okay. Could be done a little differently. I personally think it's a little broken, especially for machine guns. But yeah, that's why I gave this a 9 and not a 10. That's my only complaint. Combat. Beyond superior gun handling, reloading, grenade throwing, same as all the Call of Duty games that I've reviewed on here so far. Aiming and recoil of guns really doesn't matter. I apologize. Sorry, does not matter. Does matter. I had like a little brain fart right there. Totally misunderstood that because I can't read English at this moment in time for some reason. I'm getting influenced by the Italians too much. I'm in Italy, by the way, right now, just for the summer. Aiming and recoil, yeah. So I like the guns. I like the aiming and recoil. It's done really well. I actually really like that. Grenades, holy cow! So excited when I found out there were grenades that you could return. Yes. I mean, you could do it in Call of Duty 3, but that return system was like so kind of sketchy. Everyone is weak, high damage. I like that. I like that it's not too difficult for you to get killed, but it's not too difficult for the enemies to get killed. That's something that I really like. As long as you keep moving, you're good. Interaction with environment, I give this game 8.5. Why? Grenades don't blast through stone walls. Thank you, because grenades are not supposed to cause earthquakes. Terrain is somewhat destructible. That needs to be changed in my opinion, because in war, terrain tends to be very destructible. So yeah, change that, please, Call of Duty. Bullets go through weak materials. Hooray! Thank you. Finally, they took the advice of the fans and changed that for this game. Thank you. I was tired of not being able to shoot through like paper. Anyways, bullets leave holes in walls. I was happy with that. Thank you once again, Call of Duty. So game mechanics score, they're the scores, the percentages, break it down to a 9.2 total game mechanics score. Yeah, that's game mechanics. Moving on to graphics. I break the graphics down into landscape, main characters, additional characters, and storyline items. And combat, they're the percentages. Moving on. Landscape, I give this game a 9.5. Surroundings feel very realistic. Areas off the map need work. That is honestly a really small complaint, not too bad. It's just, you know, it would feel a little more immersive if you put a little more detail into side stuff in the actual maps. Yeah. Large amount of versatility. Grenades change some terrain. Not too much, honestly, just a little bit. But yeah, that's something that you could change a little bit. So, but I mean, it's enough. So I'm not really docking points in that category. Some details are a little grainy. That's my only big thing. Pictures tended to look kind of like old cartoons that I could have drawn with paint and crayons, whatnot. Drawn with paint. I'm funny. But yeah, so that's why I'm giving this a 9.5, because really of that, the areas off the map need work. That's like 0.1 minus, and the grainy is like 0.4 off. Moving on, main characters, once again 9.5. Why? Much more detail than other units. I love the main characters in this game. They move more intelligently than the enemies, and although they are invincible, they don't play like they are invincible. Thank you. It tricked me for a while. I honestly did not think that my main character AIs were invincible. I thought they were mortal for a little bit. But then after, you know, Captain Price got like an RPG in the head and he still got back up, I realized, oh, he is invincible. Well, anyways, it took me a while to notice that. So, yeah. Perhaps, I don't know, just trying to, I guess my only real complaint in this category is trying to make it so that I don't notice that they're invincible, but it did a pretty good job, just not a perfect job, so that's why they get 9.5. Additional characters and storyline items, 7.5. I love this category. People are probably going to realize that this tends to be lower of my categories for Call of Duty, and this is why. Same as in many other Call of Duties, other members of the squad seem to be taken at random from the selection of 2 or 3 standard AI designs. Perhaps you could add some element of random accessories to those designs. I mean, that would have been good. Lack of individual detail in the enemies. They all seem to be clones and copies of one another. Decent amount of detail in additional items. Yeah, they definitely beefed that up in this game. I liked it. Your friendly AIs randomly change their names, even if they haven't died. I mean, I understand maybe if they're having like a little personal midlife crisis and whatnot, maybe an identity crisis, bullet whiz by the ear, sound frequencies mess with the brain, suddenly they think they go by another name. I mean, that would be pretty unlikely, but still, nonetheless, I mean, I could accept that as a really shallow storyline. Anyways, that needs to change. Yeah, I was kind of annoyed when my friendly AIs couldn't figure out what the heck their names were. Yeah, that needs to change. Combat. I give it a 9. This is why. And this is combat graphics, not mechanics. Mechanics got a 10. This is graphics. So the weapons look real and look like they're actually being fired. Guns have good graphics. Not great graphics. Good graphics. Could always get a little more detailed on the guns. Yeah, reloading and throwing grenades has decent graphics. Acceptable, definitely. I'm not taking off points in that category. I mean, as always, could always get a little more detail, but that's just me. Nothing special about deaths for like AIs or you. I mean, the you part, okay, you decided to just like make the screen stop, and that your death still be from a first-person point of view. Okay, I can live with that. But the way, I guess, kind of like I like detail. I'm a big detail fanatic, so like after a battle, it would be nice to actually make it look like it's not a good thing that we killed 10 people, that it shouldn't look like it's like 10 dummies laying on the ground. It should look a little gory, in my opinion, not because I like gore, but because war is not something that you should celebrate about. Yes, that is why. So graphic scores, they're the percentages and the scores I gave them. Breakdown, I give a 8.95 in the graphic score. So the total overall rating that I give Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, I give it a 9.13. What would I pay for this game? Given that it is not new, it's been out for a little bit, but it is a really good game. I mean, I still give it a high rating even though it's been out for a while. I would pay $30 top for it. I mean, I would like to pay not so much, but I mean, honestly, if you gave me a certain amount of money that I was budgeting, and I really just needed to have shooters, I would pay up to $30 for this game. You should be able to get it for less than that. You should be able to get it for 20 or less, probably 15, but I would not pay more than 30 for this game. If I'm thinking, I would not pay more than 20, just because of how old it is, not because of how good it is. It's worth at least $30, in my opinion. Yeah, it's incredibly addicting, even when you beat it. I mean, this is the first time I played it through on this profile, but I've played it through probably 10 to 15 times. The game itself is not incredibly long. Some decent length, could of course use a little more length, but I'm not complaining because the game is so addicting. Replay value incredibly high. So yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed that, and if you're looking for any other recommendations as far as games to buy, how much to spend on them, all that good stuff, feel free to check out my other reviews. This is TomTinkerer signing off. See you guys in my next review.